It's Sean, it's Amadeus, it's Jim. It is Friday, and we're a little late. My bad. But, guys, big weekend. All kinds of fun stuff coming up. And, Sean, if I'm not mistaken, your guys play on the big NBC tomorrow.
We're on Sunday.
Sunday, okay. I knew
Yeah,
it was this weekend.
I think City plays tomorrow on NBC. I think it's the 12:30 game.
Huh? I
Yeah,
think you're right.
City against Leicester. I mean, that'll be a bloodbath. Leicester's atrocious. Just talked to Foxy and Bill were on the Markout show, and they just uh, see if Bill comes in. He was asking about some crazy games. Because he liked Fulham against Everton. I actually I don't know if you have any picks or post any picks at them days. I actually like Everton in that game. I think Everton's going to find a way to win a game here. I still think they're going to be safe. He's too good a coach. He's going to find a way to get them some points. So I think this is a spot where they can get a win. So I backed them off that game. Maybe.
Yeah, Everton's actually been pretty good at home lately. Even as bad as they've been good at home, and they're not giving up goals really at home. So Fulham's not in good shape at all right now.
Yeah, Fulham. Look, Fulham's gonna, they're gonna limp to the end. I think here, they'll finish, 10th, 11th, 12th, somewhere maybe. I mean, they were so, they're no Mitrovic. They're still, 11 wins, 12 losses, 9 draws. So they're still playing all right. But, Chelsea's right there with them. Chelsea's in 11th. Crystal Palace, I think, is going to turn it on a little bit here. I think Palace, Fulham's played one less game, but I think Palace now will start to play well. I think Wolves could start to play well. He actually, Bill liked Wolves playing?
Brentford.
Yeah, I don't. Wolves looked pretty good last week against Chelsea. Wolves at home. He says he thinks they're overrated. I probably would stay away from that. But at the end of the day, maybe I would say, I like Wolves. I was just talking about this. The 10 o'clock games Eastern tomorrow are pretty interesting. The early game is too, Villa Newcastle, but Chelsea, Brighton, Everton, Fulham, Southampton, Crystal Palace, Spurs, Bournemouth, Wolves, Brentford. It's not like prime time matches, but those matches have been really good lately, and I've actually enjoyed watching a lot of them. So hopefully it's the same thing tomorrow.
Yeah, Bournemouth's been playing very well as a team lately, but I
think they stay up.
I think they might stay up too if they keep playing well defensively. But they're probably going to take a loss tomorrow. I mean, Tottenham at home, VAR will find a way. So
I hope we got it. I don't know. Maybe they screw them because of last week, but I don't know.
Nah, I doubt it. It's it was too obvious that they want. Obviously, Tottenham up in the top 5 there. So
yeah, we got it. For United on Sunday, it's a big game because I think Newcastle's got a tough game tomorrow early. Manchester United's going to have some players out. Thankfully, Lisandro Martinez, everyone was worried it was an Achilles, but it looks like maybe a 5th metatarsal, which I said in my group chat. I said, look, man, I broke that when I was coaching at Trenton Catholic and played and practiced every day with it. It just never healed. It took 6 months to heal because they'd say stay off it, but I'm in the middle of the season. I can't. You got to do something. So it would start to feel better, and then I'd go out there and it would hurt again. So it is what it is. I mean, it'll heal in the summer. So, hopefully he's back out there soon because if they have to play the Chuckle Brothers in Seville next week, I'm gonna be probably.
Yeah, that was a depressing showing from you guys.
Well, the problem, they should have won 4-0, but the problem is like the both goals. So the second goal happened because they're 10 men and they were under pressure, but they were under pressure late in the game because his subs were terrible. But the first goal, Malacia clears it. If Malacia clears that out instead of just letting it go past him, they win the game 2-0, and they're fine. I mean, it's not it's not the greatest result ever, but better than 2-1 or 2-2. So, but also like there was a lot of weird results yesterday. So I'm not super worried that they can't get it. However, if no Rashford's supposedly going to be back for that. If Rashford and Martial play, no Bruno, he's suspended. No, if no Martinez, if Varane can play, that'd be great. But Luke Shaw's out, so it's gonna be a little dodgy, but they got Ericsson and some of these other players and stuff, so it's not the worst thing ever. But look, if they can't beat Sevilla, they don't deserve to win anything anyway. So they have to finish the season though. Like they got to finish the season because look, man, you can't go out of Europe and then finish fifth. That would be an absolute disaster. Especially the way this thing is dragging on. I mean, the Glazers are trying to pinch every single penny out of this thing. I mean, look, man, just tell Qatar, like, look, here's what we need. You're this much short. We know you're going to pay it. Just do it now. Now they're on to the third round. Now it's going to drag into June. So, like, you got to start planning all these signings. So it's such a mess. They can't let the season fizzle out.
Why do you suppose that it's gone to a third round? I mean,
because they're cheap. I mean, they just want to get they just think that they can get instead of
from a negotiating standpoint, that doesn't make sense. You put
just say to Cutter, Cutter's going to be the bidder. Just say to him, listen, you guys bid 5.5. Look, we know these other guys are not going to get to the point. We know. Look, this is what we need. We need to be.
Put a number. Give us $6
billion.
Right.
You can't do that. Well, what can you do? 5.9. Okay.
Right.
Because listen, they can't go back now. If they go back, legitimately, they will burn the stadium down. Like I'm not even they will burn the stadium to the ground. They cannot go back at this point. Like there's no way. If they think they can do what Liverpool, they will burn the stadium to the ground. The people are so pissed off. Remember, they got the game canceled last year.
Right.
So, you can't.
All right. Well, let me ask you this then. Snyder put a number up and said it was $6 billion, right? And they got it. Does the fact that the Commander's sale of $6 billion affect what the Glazers?
No, because $6 billion. The £6 billion is like 7.7.
No, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, look, you can't. So somebody said they want all the brothers to walk, all the siblings to walk away with $1 billion. Well,
there's not that many brothers.
Well, there's 6, right? Because Darcy, so there's Kevin, all of them. So, okay, but you can't It's just been run so poorly for so long. They're so poorly run. This is like the coup de grace. Of course, this should have been easy. Just sell the team, and it's every time. But the other thing is, you got to take.
I'm sorry.
You got to take some of this with a grain of salt because the media knows any Manchester United story is triple or quadruple the clicks that any other team gets. I mean, it's just they're that big over there. So they're just making a whole thing out of it. It's they're drama queens. I don't know. It's just got to get done. You can't keep. Now they're talking about 2 weeks for the next bid. Like, why do you need 2 weeks if they were this close anyway? You don't need 2 more weeks.
It's here. No, you don't.
Yeah, it's definitely getting out of hand with these guys for sure. You were calling the sale was done back in December, and it's dragged on this long. So it's
No,
it's
it's
getting
crazy.
ridiculous.
Crazy.
And I completely agree. If they go back on the sale now,
Dude,
they're
they'll
not gonna have a team left.
They'll burn the stadium to the ground. I mean, it's probably not far from what would happen.
The thing is,
they would protest. They wouldn't let the games go. Like they can't.
They won't have a team to come back to.
Listen, they got a Liverpool game postponed. When that Super League stuff came out. It's. You can't keep messing with people. You can't keep messing with these people, and it's
excuse me just a second. Hang on, guys. I'm gonna get rid of this. Hold on. Sorry.
Yeah, it's it is what it's gonna get. I don't know. I think it gets done at this point, but it's boring to me. Like at this point now, it's just boring. Like more people are talking about that than they're talking about the games. And like, look, man, I don't care. I care about the games. I watch the games. Like I don't. The rest of that stuff is boring.
The thing is, in a sale like this, you're not really dealing with the Glaciers. You're dealing with whomever
Rain Group.
Whatever they do.
It's the Rain Group, the one that just sold WWE. But they sold WWE and a lot of the time, and Vince McMahon's a nightmare apparently to deal with. But they did it.
And the point is that that's their job. So somewhere somehow there's a disconnect here.
100%.
As you said, there's a number. The number's a number, fine. I agree. If the Cutter Group knows the number, they got the money. They just do it.
Yep.
But if you play this game of dragging out, okay, we want to make sure everybody gets a fair chance. Well, they've had 4 people. What is it? This is the 3rd or 4th time they're doing it.
Yeah. It's
so you've had 2 times to get there. I don't get it. Why do we need a 4th time or a 3rd time or whatever? What the price is. The number.
Yeah, they're just
when Donald Sterling. Remember when Donald Sterling had to sell the Clippers?
Yeah.
They set the number at 1.6. Okay, Paulson, who went in and bought him, paid $2 billion. He just wrote a check and said, "Screw it, I'm not going to lose to anybody. I'll just write the check for $2 billion. They'll be mine." And he got it.
The problem is the number that they're quoting people is ridiculous compared to what. I mean, it's they're not really worth that. I mean, they're worth what they're worth. But
they're worth whatever someone's willing to do.
Yeah, but like they're not. They're not
valued them. No, you're right.
That's what they're valuing it, and these other, they're not with all the other stuff going on. It's not really
right. It's nuts. It's nuts, but it'll get solved eventually. Hopefully sooner as opposed to later. But yeah, you touched on a very important thing, and that of course was tomorrow's morning games are going to be entertaining, if not, they're not necessarily as you said, the marquee games, but they are certainly the entertaining group.
I think they'll be, they'll be fun to watch. I think,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of the games tomorrow, obviously besides Tottenham and Man City, are all plus money on it every side.
Really?
Yes, you got Tottenham as the minus 223 favorite, and then Man City is minus 700. But every other game is plus money, no matter which way you go, which side or draw.
So you can't lose.
Yeah, so tomorrow's going to be definitely an interesting day, right? Foxy's been saying Newcastle's going to drop a game soon, probably going to be against Aston Villa tomorrow.
And this Villa team is interesting. They, they are flying right now, and they've played. They've played one more game. They played two more games than Brighton, which I think could hurt them. But once again, Brighton's schedule is pretty tough. Villa, if they could beat Newcastle, they stay 6 points back of Tottenham, and if Tottenham wins. But Villa's got some games coming up. They play at Brentford, Fulham at home, Manchester United away, Wolves away, big Midlands derby, Spurs at home. So they play Spurs, and then they play Liverpool and Brighton to end the season. So that push. I mean, look, any team that if they beat Brighton at home, if they beat Spurs at home, if they beat Newcastle at home, they're probably going to be in Europe. And they have a legitimate chance to make top four, which would be crazy. I mean, I don't think they'll make top four, but they have a legitimate chance to make the Europa League instead of just the Conference League. They could make they could finish top 6 and make the Europa League because Manchester United won the League Cup, so they're going to be in one or the other anyway. The FA Cup is going to be, if Brighton wins the FA Cup, they would get the spot obviously in the I think if City wins, it would go to 6th place and then 7th place. So you'd get 6th and 7th in. Of course, if Manchester United wins the Europa League, they're in the Champions League anyway. So I'm sure the Premier League is hoping that it's Manchester United wins the Europa League, then they'll probably screw them down the line and get 5 teams in. But
well, from that standpoint, we talked about the other day, that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars if you can get there.
Of course, yeah, no, it's big. It's Champions League is big. I mean, because look, if you're an English team, you're not getting knocked out in the. Even Tottenham made the knockout stage. I mean, Chelsea's in the quarterfinals. Liverpool made the knockout stage. Like, they're not even that good. These teams, Chelsea and Tottenham Chelsea and Liverpool are going to finish in somewhere between 7th and 11th, and they all made the knockout stage. So you're making 70 million, 50 million, 60 million, because if Aston Villa got into the Europa League, they're going to get through the group. I mean, you see what West Ham's doing. They hadn't lost a game until. They hadn't dropped any points or didn't not win until yesterday, and they stink. So these teams, if the English teams go in Europe, they're not losing, so they're going to make some money. It's big. I mean, it's big for Brighton. It's big. That's why it was so big last week. It's big for Brighton. It's big for Villa to be back in. Villa,
I think this is going to be another big game for Brighton. They've been sitting on that awful match for a week now. And obviously they're going to be on the road here, but you got a Chelsea team that's just been a disaster. Not to mention the fact that they're down 2-0 in Champions League, and they got to be looking ahead to that midweek match against Real Madrid at home. Because I mean, they're technically, even though they're dead in the water, they're technically not dead in the water.
They're going to win 3-0. Todd Bowley said they'll win 3-0. They'll hit a 3-run homer in the 9th to win it.
A walk-off.
If he says so. But you got to think Chelsea's more focused on that match. So
I can't imagine Chelsea. If I was Frank Lampard, I wouldn't play anybody. I'd just play the backups in this game. You're not making the top. You're not making. They're. Where are they in the table? They're 11th in the table. To make it into Europe, they're 7 points back of Brighton, and Brighton has 2 games in hand. You're not. If they beat Brighton, now you're 4 points back. Brighton still has 2 matches in hand. If Brighton wins the match, it's over. You're not making the top 7. It doesn't matter. Chelsea has to have all their eggs in one basket at home. Look, you watched them play last year against Real Madrid. They dominated the second leg. They could do it. They stink. I don't think they will, but they could. Chelsea's only scored 29 goals. this year in the Premier League in 30 matches.
They've only had 2 matches where they've scored more than 1 goal, haven't they?
Yeah, it's something crazy. I mean, they stink. I mean, even Manchester United, who struggled mightily to score games, has 44 goals. The thing with them, I wouldn't play anybody in that game. Brighton should win that game pretty easily. If I was Chelsea, I would sit anybody that I would say has a chance to play against Real Madrid next week. I wouldn't play. There's no point.
Yeah.
Like you just play your backups. Play all the guys that don't get a chance to play. Just play.
That's exactly what I'm getting at. And you got to think that they're not going to screw Brighton 2 weeks in a row with the VAR. That would just be.
That would be a mistake.
It was already an embarrassment last week. Like when I went to Twitter after the game, it was trending number 3, just the Brighton. So, like people know what they saw, and that was a really bad game. So I would be shocked if they get more decisions like that go against them in this one. It would just be shocking.
Mom, and the other part of it, as you said, is you got to wonder. They've been sitting there all week, right? Do you not want? I mean, it's one of those things where if a team is good and they lose a game like that, they want to go the next morning and do it again. They're like, we're gonna play this game, we're gonna play it again, and we're not gonna lose again. So, we'll see. But
this time, they're getting a team that they know has struggled all year, and they have bigger fish to fry with Real Madrid during the week.
Sure.
So as Sean said, you should not be getting a good Chelsea lineup in this match. It would be absolutely insane if they
there's
their best
there's
lineup.
Literally no point to play anybody.
Especially when Todd Bowley says we're winning 3-0 in the next leg, then you better save your best players for that match.
I'm not like if I had a backup player that I thought might come on for 30 minutes and play, like I wouldn't play him. Like I wouldn't anybody that I had that I thought that I needed in that game. I would say you're not playing this week.
Yep.
You're just not playing.
They have enough players to do it. So
right.
It's like it's literally like a revolving door there. But
yeah,
they have they have 2 squads of players where they got to change in the hallway. So put the starters in the hallway this week and let the third strings out there.
Give us a Ted Lasso game.
Give us your guy Pulisic, Sean.
Yeah, nah, exactly. Like that bum ain't doing anything. Yeah, look,
this week. That's what he needs. He needs to be on the pitch this week for Chelsea.
Look, when I look at the Premier League games tomorrow, I don't know. I wouldn't take. I would bet Brighton, but there's better games to me. Like, I would never bet. Like, there's no way I'd bet Chelsea. But Chelsea could win. Who the hell knows? Everton, Fulham, Everton +180, Fulham at +300, and no Mitrovic. They're banged up. They're limping to the finish line. There's better 10 o'clock games to bet. I would think. Crystal
I would stay away from. Yeah, that one definitely caught my eye. I don't know.
Crystal Palace is the new Barcelona. They're playing well.
Well, let's not call them Barcelona. They don't have that kind of financial.
They're richer than Barcelona.
Yeah, I was going to say
Let's go
that kind
Lazio.
of financial trouble just yet.
Bill's got Lazio coming up in a couple minutes in the first half. You like that play, Amadeus?
Well, I wouldn't take Spezia. Probably, it's interesting. Lazio has
14-0 apparently in the last 3 times they played.
They've quietly, climbed up the table to second place now. That's your little Italian gem, isn't it, Sean?
That's right.
Lazio, you've been watching this team just climb the table for the last 3 weeks when nobody else has even noticed their existence. But it's funny because ever since they got kicked out of Conference League, they've won all 3 matches in Serie A, and it just goes to show you that what happens when you have less matches to focus on.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. They're a good team, and that's what what is this? That's what Paul had just talked about. Look, when you're only playing once a week, it's easier to kind of climb up the table. And if the semifinal is the Milan Derby, and one of those teams in the final, and you look at the table here, I don't know, maybe one of those teams isn't in the top top four by then. Inter right now is a point behind. So, that final could be to make the Champions League. So it'd be interesting. So yeah, no, Lazio right now, if they win this game today, could go 10 clear of Inter in fifth. Inter obviously play this weekend, but that's, to me, that's pretty interesting.
And you know what? Just imagine how that top four looks if Juventus doesn't get a points deduction.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
You might be missing Inter and AC Milan from that top four this year if that was the case.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be crazy. Manchester City minus 650. I don't even know how to bet this game.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I got minus 700, and when I see that, like there's no way to bet it because they want you to take what the total's probably like 3.5 in that game. So you're basically relying on Manchester City to score 4 goals, which they've been doing a lot lately. But they also have a game in Champions League. Yeah, they got a 3-0 lead, but they got to travel to Germany for it. And, Bayern, as bad as we think Bayern is, there's still no walk in the park. You're not just going to go there and coast. You have to play if you want to hold on to that 3-0 lead. So,
and the big game is tomorrow in France. PSG plays Lens, and Lens wins. It's the gap is 3. If PSG wins, the season, the gap is 9, and it's probably over. But that's one of those games. Sometimes it's like the Bayern Munich ones. Anybody try, except for this year, when anybody tries to step up, they get smacked back down. But it's tough there.
Yeah, PSG though, they're another one where they just beat, I think, what was it, Lyon on the road last week, and again, they don't have anything else to focus on. They were kicked out of Champions League. They really all their focuses, the league title. It's probably going to be the last one that team wins together because everybody's leaving in the summertime. But PSG is one where they'll probably where's Lens? Is Lens at home for that one?
No, it's at PSG.
Yeah, so they're done. That one's going to be the league title right there.
Bulls and OKC tonight as well. I have a good capper trying to talk me into the T-Wolves. I just think they're a mess and love how OKC plays. Yeah, Bill, I don't know how you take Miami right now, or sorry, Minnesota. They're just a mess. Fighting and so Oklahoma City hasn't been terrible. They were basically even throughout the year. So
Oklahoma City was actually 29-24 in the last half of the season. So they've definitely played their better basketball on this side of the schedule than at the beginning of the year. And you got to remember,
I'd be more interested in seeing Oklahoma City play Denver than I would Minnesota. They're just the way that Minnesota is right now, and with everything going on around it, I just have no interest, to be honest.
Yeah, and you got to remember, this Thunder team, they were one of the worst in the NBA last year. Nobody expected them to do anything this year. But if you ask them, they knew they were a playoff team, so they play every game with a chip on their shoulder. It's definitely going to be interesting. I mean, Bill, I don't know why you would go with the favorites because so far from what we've seen is we had the NCAA tournament. Every dog was winning in that one. So far, all 4 dogs have covered 3-1 straight up in this play-in tournament.
Yeah, I think Bill's on Oklahoma City straight up today.
Yeah, it just seems like it's year of the dog. I know the Chinese calendar won't agree with me, but definitely the year of the dog for sure this year.
So Bill's asking why Everton tomorrow.
I think they're I don't know. I think they're better at home.
Bill, when you hear, when you look at what Everton's done here, let me present the screen here. When you look at what Everton's done, sometimes you just get a feel about a team. 1-1 against Tottenham, 2-2 against Chelsea on the road, 1-0 against Brentford, who's pretty good, 2-2 against Nottingham Forest. Arsenal was a little bit of a blowout. Aston Villa was playing well. They beat Leeds. That they beat Arsenal back on February 4th. I think Fulham without Mitrovic, they're safe. They're gonna be in the Premier League. I think sometimes a little bit you could check out a little bit. You're like, look, we're safe. We're not going down. We can't move up. Fulham's not moving up anywhere. They were all the way up in like 5th, 6th for a long time, and now they're just starting to fall back. They're not playing very well, if we're going to be honest. You just look at what they've done here. West Ham beat them at home. Bournemouth beat them at home. Manchester United smoked them in the FA Cup. Arsenal beat them 3-0. Brentford beat them 3-2. They beat Leeds in the FA Cup, but, Leeds didn't play anybody really. You got to go back to like 2 months ago when they beat Brighton 1-0. They're playing well here, playing well. And then all of a sudden here, this wasn't a great draw. The FA Cup, loss. I just think Fulham lost their only goal scorer. Mitrovic decided to go crazy and punch a referee. So you take that guy out. I just don't know where the goals are going to come from, and they haven't been playing well to begin with. So they're losing some games. I mean, they're not really scoring a lot of goals. They've only got 4 goals here in the last month. I know there's an international break there, but that's basically 4 games, and they've lost 5 in a row. So I just feel like Everton is they've been really close, and I'll even go a little bit further for you, Bill. I think what you could do is maybe Everton 1-0 is plus 600. Everton 2-0 is plus 800. I would maybe throw, once again, I don't know what you bet with, but like I would maybe put $10 on, $10 on both, $15, 20, whatever it is, $20 at 1-0, it's plus 600. You're winning back $140. So, you're 20 plus 120. So, something like that. I think Everton is grinding, and last week they got that late goal against 2 weeks ago against Tottenham when they were down a man, and then Tottenham got the guy sent off, and they just kept fighting. I've just been really impressed with
him in that last 5 minutes.
Yeah, I've just been so impressed with him since Dice has come in. He's completely changed their mentality, and it's going to be one of these games where it's 1-0 probably either way. So I just think they're a better team in better form.
Well, just look at their last 5 at home too. You got the 1-1 draw with Tottenham, 1-0 win against Brentford. There was the loss 2-0 to Aston Villa, who's been one of the hottest teams in the Premier League now, and then 1-0 win against Leeds and 1-0 win against Arsenal. So absolutely, that 1-0 is looking good. And they 3 of their last 5 games at home have been 1-0 final scores for Everton, with the other 2 being a draw and a loss. So very good.
Yeah. Everton clean sheet. I think, Bill, that you might be on to something a little bit there. Where's that? Match and team stats. Everton under 2.5 goals market has hit in each of Everton's last 6 EPL Saturday day matches. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Something like that. Everton win to 0 might be pretty interesting. You probably get decent money on that if I could ever find it. You used to be able to find this like right away, and they changed where they put all this stuff. Man, it drives me nuts. Player shots. They do more of this player shot stuff, man. I just wanted to win to nil. They move it all over the place. But yeah, Bill, I think that's probably a decent play.
Everton win to nil is plus 225.
There you go. Everton maybe. Everton win to nil plus 225. Everton the under. Everton and under, or just the under. Everton clean sheet. So if it's 0-0, you're protected. I mean, that's going to be plus money. I think any of these are pretty decent. I hate that feed, man. It just keeps driving me nuts. It's like distracting me like crazy. All right. Everton, Crystal Palace, Brighton, and Man City. Maybe Holland 2 goals. Or team total over 2.5. Yeah, I'll pay a little bit. Oof. What's that gonna pay? Let's see what that pays. Who's he let? He said Brighton, Everton,
Crystal Palace, Man City,
and City over team total over 2.5, right?
Yeah, or Holland 2 goals, something like that.
Maybe Holland 2 goals or team total. I would probably go team total more than Holland. Just because, maybe Holland comes off a little early, blah, blah, blah. It pays, it's about 22-1, about 2,200, that parlay.
Not bad at all.
No problem, Bill. Yeah, plus 2,200. It pays a little bit there. That might be decent. I may jump on that. I am pumped for the NBA playoffs. Yeah, as well. I think it's going to be interesting. I think your Celtics will probably dominate early. So. We got anything else? Any other? Where are your picks today?
Yeah, you get my picks at Big Al and pickadvisor.com.
Make sure you come by tonight at 9:00. We'll go over some of these games a little more thoroughly. Bill, if you're interested, we'll be on at 9 tonight, going through some more of the games a little more with a fine-tooth comb. Maybe we'll get some more news and stuff like that. So 9:00, Amadeus and I will be here talking.
Is it 9 or 8?
Oh yeah, 8:00. Sorry, Bill, 8:00. Yeah, 8:00. That's right, 8:00. Celtics are -9. You know what? I to be honest, I lean towards some of the home teams in these early games. 8:00, Bill. 8 Eastern. I lean towards some of the home teams in these early games. I don't actually mind this. The Celtics one's a little tough, but I think the Sixers kill the Nets. 8.5. I'm not scared of really laying that 8.5 there, to be honest. I think the Cavs probably win and cover because Randall's not going to play. I think, I like the Warriors a little bit in that game. I like Memphis at home. And the Suns Clippers, I can't believe that line is 7. To me, that seems like a little bit too high to me.
Suns are 6-0 in the first game of the playoffs, covering the spread the last 3
Yeah, it's
or the first game of the series. Sorry, but yeah.
Bill 9 is a lot. I think the Hawks. It could go two ways, that they could be just happy to be there. I'm not sure they will be. I think they can maybe do some damage here, but they just played. So I don't know that the Celtics are going to be rested and stuff. 9 is a lot, though. I'd rather maybe go over or something like that instead of the spread here. Maybe take the over or series. Some of the ones I saw, I Sixers and 5 is pretty good money. If you bet the series for some of these, they have the. Let me see, where is that? The Sixers markets. Sixers to win in 5 is plus 200. That's actually not even that good value, to be honest. It's actually a little bit crazy, to be honest. Cavs in 5 is plus 300. Cavs in 6 is plus 450, that's crazy to me. The Cavs to win to 5 is plus 300, and the win in 6 is more, plus 450. I think it'd be the other way around. Knicks in 6 is plus 500. So yeah, Celtics may be a little risky in trade proving himself. Yeah, it could be. I'm not, the only game I like tomorrow is really the Sixers. I like the Sixers a lot. I think Embiid kind of just goes crazy in that game. I like Embiid over 33.5 points too. It's close to even money, so I think that's probably close to a lock. Backs up his MVP. All right. So yeah, Bill, 8:00 tonight. We'll be on. We'll talk a little soccer. You're on mute.
It's a technical issue day for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if you were talking this whole time, but
I have been, but somebody should have mentioned it. Okay.
I didn't. We weren't. I wasn't. I just saw it moving, and I was like, I think he's on mute.
Okay. Well. Okay, it's been one of those.
It hasn't been the whole show. It's only been for just a couple minutes.
No, I know. I must have hit it by accident.
Jim must hate the soccer talk, Bill.
No, I don't hate the soccer talk, Bill. Not at all. I hit mute. What can I say? Anyway, a quick question. I was just saying, you're talking about Joel Embiid.
No problem, Bill.
He's got to be one of the leaders for the MVP.
Oh, it's over. He won the MVP.
Just mail it to him. All right, fine.
Yeah, that's
I agree. He's
switched about a month ago, and he's the clear MVP. I mean, scored 33.5 points a game. I mean, once again, to me, Jokic, they got the first seed. I mean, I don't know. Giannis, I missed some time. I think, Giannis, they got the first seed. The Sixers, they might have one home series in the thing, and you're without him, I guess, what would they have done? They would have been in the playoffs somewhere. So
they would have been near the top, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So Joel Embiid. Okay. What about Amadeus, the Rays and the Jays tonight up in the Rogers Center?
The greatest team ever.
Yeah, the Rays are going for that record tonight, and I don't know about these Jays, man. They have absolutely no pitching.
They played like the Jays last night. They were down 3-1 or 3-0, and
they're down 3-1.
Yeah, scored 7 runs in the third or fourth inning, and you're like, what the heck? I mean, these are not.
You know what? Shout out to Bill. He came in and was talking about taking the Rays live when they were down 2-1.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he did. The crazy thing about it is that's 4 straight sweeps. I mean, and this last sweep was a 4 game. I mean, they went You know that Joe Wiz was talking. You know, I'm thinking about taking the Red Sox today. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, but why? Like, they just beat him 3 in a row. Like,
Right.
He's a train jumper.
you
Some
know,
people like to ride the trains, and others like to stand in front of them.
if they win today,
If you've been on that one.
if they win today, you know, now, you know, if they go 14-0, now that's the major league record. Then the next record is the Union Association from 1884. The St. Maroons went 20-0. You know, and the Rays are just bludgeoning teams.
Right.
Bludgeoning. So
I don't know. I mean, you would have, you know, a couple years ago, the ideas of the Rays scoring 7 runs in 1 inning would have been absurd. This year, they're just mashing. I mean, and the pitching usually hadn't been that bad. So that'll be a game worth paying attention to anyway tonight. Any other baseball on the agenda there for you tonight, Amadeus? I know you like to get into the old baseball routine.
Yeah, I did have a free play on the Cubs first 5 money line tonight.
That was a good line, Bill. That was a good line. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a really disjointed opening season so far for a number of teams. I mean, who would have thought that Milwaukee would have been so good?
Yeah.
Or the rest of the season.
The crazy thing is, I mean, that division, the American League East, is really good, and you know they're all 5 games back after 2 weeks, which is absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
like, you know, and then you know, the National League West is all bunched up.
Yeah, it's all jumbled.
Basically, every division is right now, except for, you know, the American League East is by far the best division in baseball because I think you have potentially 4 teams that could win 90 games.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, Rays are going to win 100 and whatever, 162 apparently.
The Yankees will win, you know, 100 games if they.
That's what I said. And
9 runs in the first.
Joe Wish was trying to tell me I'm crazy. I'm like, dude, they play all these bums all the time now. Like, you're playing all these other teams. Like, you don't have to play. Like, the teams in the American League East, they're playing 24 less games against the best division in baseball. You're playing 6 less games against the Blue Jays, the Yankees, the Orioles, and the Red Sox. Like, the only team that sucks is the Red Sox because they stink. But you know, if you're playing 18 more games against the Blue Jays, Yankees, and you know, if you go 9-9 in those games, you're doing all right because they're all, you know, they all have potential playoff. Well, you know, now you're playing, you know, extra games against the Royals, the Tigers, and the Mariners, or like the Nationals, the you know, the Rockies and whatever. So I know my Red Sox bullpen, they stink.
They do. But, you know, the Yankees, there's no reason why they can't win 100 games.
Hi.
Hey, Luke, how you doing?
Luke, say hi to everybody.
Hi.
A cameo appearance.
How was school? Not interested. Friday.
I wasn't interested in school either, so I can get it. So, no, I mean, the Yankees could definitely win 100.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. We'll see. The National League East has been a bit of a train wreck in the early season, but we'll see how it goes. And out west, there's been one of those you wait for Houston, they haven't shown up yet, but they'll get back.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and
Luke, go get the broom.
quick question. Is there any – this is a big weekend for college football in the U.S. from the standpoint of college football spring games. Do they put lines on college football spring games? Just asking.
I've seen them.
Really?
I didn't know they played games in the springtime.
Alabama and stuff. Yeah, I've seen them.
They play against each other. In other words, Alabama's offense and defense play in, you know, what in essence is the last practice before you go back to class before, you know, summer, and then summer practice is actually getting ready for the season. So this is the spring practice. A lot of these coaches will assess who they need because in a couple of days the transfer portal will open up again. And so let's say you got an Alabama running back who's, thought he was going to do well or thought he was going to be used and they're not going to use him. And he's like the third guy on the running back depth chart. He may end up in the portal and somebody else may get him. So that's what they use these spring games now for. They used to do some stuff. And now Dion comes up with this idea that he wants to do a spring game against another team, which is, as close as you get to an exhibition game. But, it's catching some Hugh Freeze at, where's he now? Auburn. Thought that wasn't such a bad idea. So who knows what's going to happen. And the CU spring games sold out. I mean, these never sell out. But this one did for Coach Prime. Should be interesting. But then, Sean, you've seen lines on these things?
Yeah, I've seen them before.
Wow, that's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. But hey, you never know, right?
That's right.
So, any final thoughts, boys, before we get out of here on a Friday afternoon?
No, I'm good.
All right. Amadeus, anything going on?
No, just got the Cubs first 5 money line as a free play, and go find my premium picks.
And Bill gets the last line. Lazio first half live plus 165. Any comments on that one?
Yeah, I'm jumping on that now. I'll jump on that.
Give Bill a Lazio first half live plus 165. Those are.
Gotta find the halves. There you are. First half. I got him at plus 180.
Well, 165 is a good deal then. Look, Sean's phone is large.
That's right. Got him at plus 180, Bill. So I jumped on that. So I have to check and see. I have to get updated if they score now.
There you go.
Shaka's up 2-0 after about 10 seconds. Yeah.
Didn't take them long.
That's right.
All right. Bill, have a great weekend. Is Foxy here today? I don't think he is. So anyway, everybody have a nice weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Till then, enjoy.